Hello, everyone, and welcome to 2025, a year that's been declared as a Jubilee Year by the church. As the year goes on, I'm sure you'll be hearing more and more about that. But a Jubilee Year is a time to start over. And I'd like to do a reading right now from the first letter of John. And John writes, "Beloved, if God so loved us, we must now love one another. No one has ever seen God, yet if we love one another, God remains in us, and God's love is brought to perfection in us." John goes on to write in that God is love, and whoever remains in love remains in God, and God in them. In this is how love is brought to perfection among us, that we have confidence on the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we in this world. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. And so one who fears is not yet perfect in love. This morning I was thinking back to a very old song. Maybe you remember this song when you were young, or maybe you heard it on the radio since, but it was from 1969, and the singer is Jackie DeShannon, and she goes on to say, "Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart." And you might say, "Oh man, that 1960s kumbaya stuff," and just be kind of dismissive. Those people back then, they were so idealistic. I think the dismissiveness comes because we're afraid of the message. Put a little love in your heart. And she's thinking the same as St. John is right there. God is love. And we take it a step further. But we ask ourselves the question, what keeps us from loving? And fear is what John says, and others say, that's what keeps us from loving. But love will cast out fear. So we should try to live in love instead of fear. And we're sold a steady diet of fear these days. The media, it's really, much of it is manufactured fear. Not even true. And yet, different facts are given to make us afraid, to make us scared. Politicians take up on it, advertisers take up on it, and sadly sometimes even church leaders take up on it. We're taught to be afraid, to be afraid. And fear, what does it do? It leads to hatred, which takes over our hearts. But to go back to what Jackie DeShannon was saying, that naive, foolish, unrealistic, idealistic person, let's substitute the word love for God. And so when she says, "Another day goes by and still the children cry, put a little love in your heart. Put a little God in your heart. If you want the world to know we won't let hatred grow, put a little love in your heart. Put a little God in your heart. And the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see." And Jackie goes on to say, "I hope that you decide, let kindness be your guide. Put a little love in your heart." So this January, beginning of a new year, let's keep doing that. It's a Jubilee year. Put a little God in our heart, put a little love in your heart. And God bless all of you.